just like we saw in the last episode of the previous season, Season 1, where Dante kills White Rabbit, and after that he rebuilds the barrier between the demon world and the human world by separating Force Edge, Sparta's sword, and the amulet from each other. And then how can we forget the very next scene where Lady tricks Dante, knocks him unconscious, and carries out the order to capture him. And then we see William Baines, who kills Anders and take control of White Rabbit's device. And after that, using the device, he opens a portal to the demon world and launches Operation Inferno, and launches an assault on the demon world. On the other side, Dante is captured and frozen in confinement, while the amulet and Force Edge fall into the government's hands. And in the very last scene, we see Vergil, Dante's brother, who says, "These people are going to find out now what kind of storm they've messed with." And yes, right there, Season 1 comes to an end. Then we enter Season 2, where we learn that a long time has passed since Dante was imprisoned. Sitting right in front of him is Lady, who is clearly unhappy seeing Dante in this condition. She tells him, "Once again, I'm leaving you behind alone." The scene then shifts, and we see that the war between humans and demons is raging at full force. In reality, Mary Arkham, also known as Lady, has been sent into the demon world for a very special mission. And this massive war is being fought for only one purpose. The objective is to infiltrate Mundus's castle and seize a priceless weapon. A weapon capable of completely turning the tide of this war against hell itself. Yes, by now you've probably realized that countless lives are being sacrificed just to capture this one legendary weapon. The device Lady carries is guiding her toward the location of that weapon. The path is heavily guarded, but Lady possesses a special device that allows her to become invisible, although its usage is limited. Along the way, she also discovers a prison where innocent captives are being held, and just as expected, Lady kills the monster guarding them and sets the prisoners free. The monsters thank her for saving them. After that, we see this Joker guy who cleverly manipulates the general and sends him to the king's castle to ask the king for help. Yes, just look at this guy's face. Just from his face alone, you can tell he's from some wicked bloodline. Then we see the general begging King Mundus for assistance against the humans. He says that if the king himself were to step onto the battlefield and display even a fraction of his overwhelming power, the war would immediately end. But before he can even finish speaking, King Mundus angrily responds, "First, you dragged my name through the dirt, and now inside my own kingdom, you dare order me around?" And in the very next moment, Mundus kills the general on the spot. Then he says, "What an idiot." Although he's not entirely wrong. The real objective was actually to lure the king out of his castle and onto the battlefield so Lady could get the opportunity to steal the weapon. And just like that, King Mundus falls into the trap and heads into the war zone. Meanwhile, Lady kills the monsters guarding the palace and sneaks into King Mundus's throne room. The special weapon is hidden somewhere within the throne itself, and right on top of it, that Joker showing his devilish smile, laughing for who knows what reason. And this is the very weapon that even King Mundus fears, which is exactly why he always keeps it close to him. Outside the castle, Mundus is busy displaying his terrifying power on the battlefield. Then the scene shifts to the western Mackay region, 1,800 miles away from Mundus's castle, where we see a mysterious girl being surrounded by monsters. The monsters say, "Looks like you've wandered far away from the battlefield, and around here, only we rule." Suddenly, Vergil, Dante's brother, interrupts them and says, "In this world, only one king rules. Are you rebelling against your king?" The monsters reply, "This human entered our world because of your king Mundus. We refuse to follow such a foolish ruler." Vergil calmly responds, "You won't be refusing anymore, because I was sent here to take your heads." And then the monsters attack, but they get slaughtered within seconds like insects. One surviving monster rushes toward the girl, but she turns out to be incredibly fast and kills the creature in the blink of an eye. It's obvious that this girl already knows Vergil very well. She says, "I know your friend hates this human form of yours. Actually, I've brought you a message from Ouroboros." The moment Vergil hears that name, he suddenly starts remembering something from the past. During this, the girl says, "The snake who eats its own tail." Then she continues, "He sent me to tell you that he's not only alive, he's becoming stronger. He's celebrating because he managed to steal something extremely valuable from your daddy Mundus, his Arcana Chalice." Hearing this, Vergil immediately says, "That's impossible." The girl smirks and replies, "Poor innocent Vergil, looks like daddy Mundus never told you the truth." But Ouroboros always speaks the truth. The one who killed your mother was none other than... Enraged, Vergil shouts, "What are you talking about? Tell me!" The girl slowly steps backward and sets herself on fire while saying, "If you want to learn the truth behind this secret, then come to Earth. He's dying to meet you." And yes, let me tell you something else. Right after this, the scene shifts again, where a news channel is being shown on TV carrying the exact same symbol that was on the girl's body. The news reporter is talking in a very dramatic way. That symbol belongs to Darkcom, a domain, while the other mark is its subdomain. Then the scene shifts once more to a place where Lady loudly announces, "I'm leaving Darkcom." Right after that, she hands over the chalice and says, "Just for this single object, you people sent countless humans demons straight into hell to die. Dante was right. You treat the people working under you like insects. After saying that, she starts walking away, but then Arius stops her and says, "You're leaving at the wrong time. I was actually planning to promote you." Lady replies, "I'm not hungry for greed. And besides, what are you even supposed to do with this chalice when it has cost so many lives? I can't watch more people die." Arius then says, "This is the final piece of the Arcana. Nothing except the Arcana itself can destroy him. With a properly planned war, he and his entire kingdom can finally be wiped out, and Makai will be free." Hearing this, Lady thinks for a moment before replying, "Fine, I'll accept the promotion, so nobody else comes here and ruins everything." And with that, Lady officially becomes a commander. Afterward, William Baines says to Arius, "Looks like it's finally time to tell her about her father." But Arius replies, "We'll tell her after we win our final battle first." The truth is, no power in existence can destroy the Arcana or its fragments. The Arcana consists of 4 parts: Medaglia, Spada, Bastone, and the small chalice. And now, all of these pieces have fallen into the hands of one man, meaning he can finally use the Arcana's complete power. But there's still one thing missing: Vergil. And that's why they've already started baiting him into coming to Earth. The first bait was that mysterious girl, and the second is the Joker, whose real name is Jester. Honestly, the girl had a small chance of succeeding, but Jester looks so insanely manipulative that he manages to manipulate Vergil within moments and succeeds in his mission. After all, a man capable of dragging a king off his throne and onto the battlefield can do almost anything. Special bullets designed specifically to capture Vergil have already been created, using Dante's DNA. Later on, we see that the moment Arius enters a demon gathering in his human form, the entire atmosphere changes. All the demons go completely silent. They don't insult Vergil directly to his face, but they speak loudly enough for him to hear. Then eventually, Vergil stands before King Mundus himself and informs him that the Western Wastelands are openly insulting his name because the demons there have learned that humans entered Makai because of Mundus himself. Mundus replies, "If I hadn't sent you after White Rabbit, humans would never have entered our world in the first place. But it doesn't matter anymore. The wall built by your father will soon fall, and Earth will lie beneath my feet." Then, after confirming from the king that the chalice was truly stolen, Vergil asks permission to go to Earth and retrieve the Arcana. Mundus replies, "Just make sure your connection to that world doesn't interfere with your mission." And yes, he's clearly talking about Dante. Mundus also reveals that there's a traitor among them, maybe even more than one. Since their world is in danger without the Arcana, he immediately orders Vergil to leave. The reason Vergil can move between both worlds so easily is probably because he's both human and demon. But unfortunately, the moment Vergil steps onto Earth, the army immediately detects his presence. One attack after another is launched to capture him. The plan is actually brilliant, and they even manage to restrain him for a moment. But the instant they attack him using bullets made from Dante's DNA, Vergil breaks free from captivity and completely turns the tables within seconds, showing everyone their true place. Then, in anger, he says, "Whoever among you is still capable of speaking will answer one question of mine. Tell me the name of the one who gave you the mark of Ouroboros." The scene then shifts again, where Arius says to the mysterious girl, "Just as expected, your sister brought you here. Looks like Ouroboros has finally achieved his goal." And after that, we once again see Lady visiting Dante, clearly regretting the decision she made. We see that the people have now turned against their own president because the public doesn't want any kind of war with the demon world. And do you know what the president is doing inside while all this chaos is happening outside? He's inside enjoying a luxurious party because honestly, he doesn't care at all about what the people are saying. At this same party, we also see Arius and William Baines talking about Vergil. They say that sooner or later, Vergil himself will come to them on his own. Then the scene shifts and takes us to the Ouroboros detention facility, where someone infiltrates the facility and kills one of the soldiers guarding the entrance. After that, the scene shifts back to the same party, where Arius and William Baines decide to release Dante from captivity so they can use him as a weapon against his own brother. And the person who will help bring Dante onto the government's side is Lady, who at that moment is busy with physical training. The moment she hears that Dante is being released, Lady quietly says, "He probably hates me now." Then the scene shifts back to the party again, where we see the president angrily confronting Arius and William Baines. The president says, "Enough is enough. I only started this war to strengthen my political career, but now this has gone too far. If this continues, I'm going to lose my seat." Arius responds, "And it was us who made you president in the first place." The president angrily replies, "I'm the one in control here, and if I want, I can tear up all your mining contracts in the demon world and throw them right in your face." Hearing this, Arius becomes furious and threatens the president, saying, "I've invested heavily in every major media media network. One phone call from me, and only the news I want will be broadcast. Every single one of your secrets can be exposed to the world. Right in the middle of this argument, that mysterious girl suddenly appears and takes Arius away with her. After everything that happened, the president becomes extremely angry. Then the scene shifts once again and takes us to Dante, who is having a terrifying nightmare. In the dream, Dante is apologizing to his brother Vergil for not being able to save him. Dante says that he was too afraid at the time, and that fear stopped him from saving his brother. And during this moment, Dante's heartbeat suddenly starts racing rapidly, and because of that, he finally breaks free from captivity. After that, we see Dante sitting in front of an interviewer. The interviewer asks him, "You do know why you were brought here, right?" Dante replies, "Yeah, I have to work with Darkcom for a while, and they also want to do some psychological evaluations on me. But honestly, I don't know why. Anyway, can you hurry this up? I still need to go and talk to my brother." He continues, "At first, I believed that back in childhood, Vergil died alongside our mother during that demon attack. But now I've learned that he's actually alive, and somehow the Demon King brainwashed him and turned him into his loyal servant, the same enemy of our father." Then the interviewer asks, "It was Commander Arkham, wasn't it? The one who betrayed you and had you imprisoned?" Dante casually replies, Yeah, that's just how things are between us. We fight, argue, and keep setting each other up all the time. Most of the time, she's the one beating me up, but hey, I'm a powerful demon too, so I make sure she gets a taste of it as well." Then the scene shifts and we finally see what actually happened when Dante was freed from captivity. After Dante escapes confinement, Commander Arkham arrives and tells him that his brother Vergil is still alive. Dante immediately becomes overjoyed and says that he wants to meet his brother right away. But the moment Commander Arkham reveals that Vergil is now working for King Mundus, Dante becomes completely shocked. He can't believe that his own brother could work for the very person who killed their mother. During this moment, Lady hands Dante a childhood keepsake and says to him, "You can trust me, I promise." Then moving forward, we see Dante discovering the technology that will help him track down his brother Vergil. After that, Arius shows Dante the brutal massacre of soldiers that Vergil carried out without mercy. The moment Dante sees it, he looks completely shaken, as if he has just witnessed a horrifying nightmare. Then, after so many years, Dante finally sees his brother again. Looking at him, Dante says, This doesn't even feel like my brother anymore. How could he possibly do something like this? I don't know what Mundus did to him, but no matter what happens, I'm bringing my brother back." Later, we see Dante searching for weapons because Darkcom had confiscated all of his gear. Then this strange old woman tells him, "Take whatever you want, just don't tell anyone outside. Now get out of here, my show's about to start." Then we see that show where the host announces, "Today we have a very special guest with us, an ambassador from the demon world, Vergil the Demon." The moment Dante and Lady hear that, both of them react in shock and yell, "What? That's impossible!" The audience itself can barely believe that Vergil is actually a demon, and soon, everyone else also learns that Vergil is appearing on the show. Seeing all this, William Baines immediately says, "We need to shut this broadcast down." But Arius responds, "Why shut it down? If you didn't see this coming, then you saw nothing at all. Only a truly intelligent enemy could make a move like this. He's completely flipped the entire game upside down. Now this is getting interesting." Then Vergil begins speaking. "I was born in your world, but ever since childhood, I've lived in Makai. I came here carrying a message from my king, Mundus." Vergil continues, "You people probably think this war is a battle between good and evil. You've been told that our world is hell and that our king is the devil, but all of that is a lie. We demons have no evil intentions. Mundus only wishes to maintain balance within his world." Hearing this, Dante angrily says, "Why is he defending him? That bastard!" Then we return to Vergil, who starts showing photographs while saying, "Take a close look at these images. These photos were taken from the security footage of a secret demon prison in your world, showing your soldiers torturing Makaians without trial, guilty of no crime other than their origins." Watching this, Arius says, "So he thinks he can win people's sympathy with a few pictures?" Vergil continues, "The place where these innocent people are being tortured isn't even a government prison. It's a private facility, and if you trace the ownership, only one name comes up, Ouroboros. This war that has begun, where lives from both worlds are being sacrificed, is all part of the conspiracy of a single man, Arius von Ehrenberg." And just like that, Vergil starts exposing all of Arius's dark secrets one after another. Arius becomes so furious that he immediately orders the show to be shut down. Then the scene shifts again, where a young man tells Vergil, "The president wants to speak with you." On the call, the president says, "Well, now that you've officially become Makai's ambassador, why don't we sit down and discuss things peacefully?" After that, we see alarms activating everywhere because Vergil is heading directly toward the place where everyone is is gathered, and his main objective is to kill Arius. Meanwhile, on the other side, Dante looks at his mother's photograph and quietly says, "I will bring him back." Dante and Vergil had been competing with each other ever since childhood over one thing: who was stronger. Because the younger brother, Dante, possessed natural-born talent and skill from birth, but the older brother, Vergil, had no natural talent at all. For every single thing, he had to work far harder than Dante and struggle endlessly. Yet even after all that effort, he still couldn't surpass his younger brother. Even Dante's mother used to warn him not to tell anyone how powerful he truly was. She would say, "Other children can't do what you can. It would hurt them." But one day, while trying to catch Dante during one of their games, Vergil falls badly and gets seriously injured. Yet his wounds heal incredibly fast because he's the son of a demon, while his mother is human. Vergil asks his mother, "Why is everything so difficult for me, but so easy for Dante? Why can't I do the things he can?" His mother gently replies, "When we achieve something through hard work, that's when we truly deserve it." Then one night, when Vergil wakes up just to drink some water, their house is suddenly attacked by a massive group of demons. During the attack, their mother is killed. And do you know where Dante was at that moment? He was hiding somewhere in fear. That's why the demons only take Vergil with them. They imprison him and tell him, "All of this punishment is because of the countless crimes committed by your father, and the torture they give him is horrifying. They burn him alive, and whenever his wounds heal, they burn him alive again." Because he was the son of a demon, he simply wouldn't die that easily. Then one day, just as they are about to burn him alive once again, another demon suddenly appears and saves him, bringing him before King Mundus. Mundus says, "I am the king of this world. From today onward, no one will ever hurt you again." Vergil asks, "Why are you helping me?" Mundus replies, "Your father was my strongest champion, my most loyal general." Then Mundus explains how they fought many wars together, the greatest being against Argosax. He reveals that the people who tortured Vergil were loyal followers of Argosax, the Ouroboros. The symbol of Ouroboros belongs to Argosax's followers. They wanted revenge against your father, which is why they burned your home and killed your mother. After that, Mundus gives Vergil the sword created by his father Sparta. The moment Vergil lifts it, he slaughters every demon responsible for his mother's death one by one. Then Mundus says, "I will teach you how to transform into your Machian form. You'll remain in that form so you never have to suffer through the weaknesses of a fragile human body again." Vergil asks, "And what do I have to do in return?" Mundus answers, "Loyalty." And that is where Vergil's absolute loyalty to King Mundus truly begins. Then the scene shifts back to the present, where Vergil's goal is clear: erase every trace of Ouroboros by killing Arius himself. But right in his path, after so many years, he suddenly meets his younger brother Dante again. Dante smiles and says, "Where'd you learn to make such a dramatic entrance? I definitely didn't teach you that." Vergil calmly replies, "I had a feeling it would be you, my little brother." Dante jokes back, "Back in childhood, you used to get beaten up by this little brother." Hearing that, Vergil simply smiles. Meanwhile, a man nearby waits only for Arius's command to attack, but Vergil is already aware of it. Arius says, "I just want to give Dante the first chance." Then Vergil says to Dante, "I take it the capital's been evacuated for the sake of our touching reunion?" Dante smirks and replies, "I had to get a hold of you somehow. You don't write, you don't call. I know long-distance calls from the demon realm must be expensive, but still, you could have tried." Vergil responds, "I could say the same for you. Not once did it cross your mind that I might have survived the attack, even though we share the same blood, the same abilities, and you survived." Dante lowers his voice and says, "I admit, I was wrong. But you, why are you working for Mundus? His soldiers attacked us. He's the one who killed Mom." Vergil replies, "His soldiers? Who told you that? You actually believed White Rabbit." Dante looks shocked and asks, "You knew White Rabbit?" Vergil answers, "If I didn't know him, then how would he have gotten my blood and my half of the amulet? It was Mundus's order to destroy the barrier our father created." Dante immediately responds, "You tried to destroy the very barrier Dad built to protect us from that monster." Vergil replies, "And that's your problem. You believe whatever people tell you. Sparta never betrayed Mundus. I know this because Mundus himself raised me, so I could take our father's place, the place that rightfully belongs to me." Dante asks his brother, "What did Mundus do to you?" Vergil calmly answers, "He set me free." And the moment he says that, Vergil launches a direct attack on Dante, and just like that, the battle between the two brothers begins once again. During the fight, Vergil says to Dante, "Even now, you still rely only on your natural talent. You could have at least learned something." While fighting, Dante replies, "I don't want to fight you." Vergil responds, "The moment you realized you couldn't beat me, you started making excuses. I never had the natural gifts you were born with. My entire childhood burned away in that fire. But look at me now. My weaknesses made me better than you, smarter than you, faster than you, stronger than you. For years, I forged myself within the flames of Makai, while you wasted your life in human form eating pizza and chocolate ice cream." And Dante instantly replies, "Not chocolate, strawberry strawberry ice cream. And then, after a long and brutal fight, Vergil somehow finally defeats Dante. As he walks away, he says, "When you wake up, come find me. I'll be downstairs," making Mom's real killer suffer. Watching all of this, Arkham decides to stop Vergil, but Arius stops her and says, "We can't leave the Arcana unprotected." Then the soldiers start firing at Vergil non-stop until they completely run out of bullets. Vergil calmly says, "If you value your lives," and the moment they hear that, the soldiers immediately turn around and run away in fear. Eventually, Vergil finally reaches Arius. Then he stands face to face with Lady and says, "So, you're my brother's favorite human. Your reputation reached my world before you did." Lady replies, "Killing you will make that reputation even bigger." Vergil smirks and says, "I don't know why, but I respect you more than my brother. You had to earn your own strength. You're fighting for a cause you're even willing to die for. But you'll probably hate hearing this. Your own president gave me this location. He wants to end the war that you and your master started, enough to let me reclaim the Arcana." Lady coldly replies, "You made a deal with Hopper, not with me." The moment Vergil says, "Then why not make a deal with you too?" Lady suddenly remembers Dante. After thinking for a moment, she says, "You can settle your own problems yourselves." Vergil then asks, "What exactly did you see in my little brother?" Lady replies, "Even though both you and your brother are half human, he has far more humanity left in him than you do." Vergil answers, "Make sure to tell him that while you're peeling him off the wallpaper." Then William Baines suddenly shouts, "Mary, stop!" Lady replies, "Who's Mary?" And after saying that, she walks straight toward Dante. William Baines then says to Vergil, "What makes you think we'll let you take the Arcana?" Vergil calmly responds, "Not just the Arcana, I'm taking Arius's severed head too. For so long, one thing kept bothering me. How did that useless group of Makaians ever manage to reach my mother on Earth? Now I finally understand. There had to be a human involved, someone arrogant enough to openly follow in Argosax's footsteps." Arius steps forward and says, "I had nothing to do with your mother's death, but yes, I did make you believe it so you would come here." The moment Vergil hears that, he furiously shouts, "Liar!" and immediately attacks him. But somehow, Arius blocks Vergil's attack with shocking ease and finally reveals his true power. Then Arius says, "I wish you understood that this was all part of my plan. I knew that mad dog sitting in the president's chair would eventually turn against me. You still don't understand, do you? Your goal and my goal are the same." Vergil coldly replies, "Don't misunderstand me. I am loyal only to my king." Arius laughs and says, "Mundus has been fooling you all along, child. I only wanted to be your friend." And while saying this, Arius somehow absorbs the Arcana chalice and makes its power his own. And with that, a massive battle between Vergil and Arius finally begins. My name is Vergil, and at this moment, I am training under the Demon King Mundus so I can one day take revenge on my mother's killers. My mother was human, and my father, whom I have never even seen in my life, was a demon, which means I am half human and half demon. I spent my entire childhood in this hell-like world, surrounded by demons, forcing myself to become stronger. And I hated the symbol of Argosax, because that symbol was the reason my entire childhood was destroyed. Even today, I still break down remembering the moment my mother died right in front of my eyes. My king once told me, "Devils never cry," and at that exact moment, I killed the crying human Vergil that still existed inside me. My king told me that Argosax was a merciless ruler. He used to devour children alive in front of their own mothers and force those mothers to watch helplessly. He laughed while listening to their screams. But my king, Mundus, was the one who ended that horrifying era because he was stronger. And I too wanted to become stronger, strong enough to kill the murderer of my mother, who at this very moment stood before me. My mother's killer, Arius, had already absorbed the Arcana chalice into himself, making him incredibly difficult to defeat. I wanted not only his life, but also the Arcana chalice that he had stolen from my king, Mundus. And this man, the one I believed with all my heart to be my mother's true killer, kept repeatedly telling me that he wasn't responsible for her death, but I couldn't believe a single word coming out of his mouth. Again and again, I demanded answers from him. "You were the one who ordered the attack on my house, weren't you? You were the one who killed my mother." But no matter how many times I asked, he continued denying everything. Then he said to me, "Why didn't you ask the demons who actually killed your mother? Who sent them there? Before you ever got the chance, Mundus himself had them killed by your own hands." And right there, my suspicions finally turned into certainty. There was a traitor among us, something my king Mundus had already warned me about long ago. Because how else could Arius possibly know what truly happened that day? And then Arius himself openly admitted it. "Yes, it's true. There is a traitor among you. Someone sitting at a very high position within the king's court, hiding cleverly in plain sight." Then, with immense arrogance and pride, Arius declared, "You can never defeat him." The moment I heard that, I was just about to rip open his chest, but suddenly he stopped me using the power of the Arcana chalice. Then he revealed something even worse. He admitted that he was the one who sent that messenger to me back in Makai. And not only that, he had already obtained the other 3 Arcana fragments as well. Now the full power was finally complete in his hands, and with that power, he claimed he could bring Argosax back to his original throne, the very place where my king Mundus currently sat. Argosax, the same king who used to devour children alive alive in front of their own mothers. That reminds me of Dante, my younger brother. The same brother I had beaten so badly that I practically pasted him onto the wall like wallpaper. And the one who had already reached him to help him was Mary Arkham. I was the one who allowed her to go to Dante in the first place. And the reason I smashed him into the wall like that was because he was standing in my way. Meanwhile, Arius couldn't kill me because he needed my blood in order to achieve his true goal. And eventually, he succeeds in taking my blood. While extracting it, he tells me, now, in exactly 22 hours, Argosax will finally be freed. But before he can even finish speaking, my younger brother interrupts him, not with words, but by immediately opening fire. And the moment I break free, I take advantage of the opportunity and slice off one of Arius's arms. I'm just about to separate his head from his body when suddenly that girl jumps in between us, and at that exact moment, the entire building starts collapsing. Taking advantage of the chaos, Arius opens a portal and escapes right out of my hands, but there was no way I was going to let him escape that easily, so I immediately chase after him using a portal of my own, and I teleport directly to the place where he fled. Actually, sorry, not alone. My younger brother Dante and that girl also follow me there right behind me. Then moving forward, we see Dante asking Vergil, what the hell is going on here? Vergil replies, don't stand in my way, otherwise your master will destroy both worlds within the next 22 hours using the Arcana. Arius wants to use the Arcana to awaken Argosax, the king of destruction. The moment Dante hears that, he responds, and let me guess, Mundus is the one who told you that story too. Vergil calmly says, Argosax was the scourge of Makai, a sadistic overlord defeated by Mundus. Humanity's image of hell, fire, and torment came from glimpses of Makai during Argosax's reign. Arius doesn't want to revive Argosax just to kill Mundus, he wants to drown both worlds in destruction. Dante angrily replies, and yet you were helping White Rabbit open the barrier too, all because Mundus told you to. Vergil answers, we no longer need the barrier our father created. Human history is built on lies. Our father didn't create that barrier to protect humans, he created it to keep Makai away from human insects. Dante immediately fires back. Dad never saw humans as insects. If he did, he never would have formed a bond with them in the first place. Vergil angrily replies, you really think he wanted to create heirs with humans? If that were true, he never would have abandoned us. The truth is simple. He was ashamed that he ever fell in love with a human, and honestly, you should be ashamed too. Dante furiously responds, how can you say something like that about Mom? And right there, Dante and Vergil are just about to start fighting once again, when suddenly, Lady's device detects all 4 Arcana fragments. The Arcana chalice is still with Arius, but according to the device, the remaining fragments are also somewhere nearby, probably hidden inside a basement. Dante asks, if Arius already has all the Arcana pieces, then what's he waiting for? What's so special about these next 22 hours? Lady replies, the eclipse. Tomorrow, a rare hybrid solar eclipse will occur, something that only happens once every 100 years. Vergil then explains, the cosmic energy from the eclipse will allow Arius to fully activate the Arcana, but only if he possesses all 4 fragments. In other words, before the eclipse ends, we need to keep at least 1 Arcana piece away from him. Lady then steps forward and says, alright, then we finally have a plan. I'll lead you 2 straight to the Arcana fragments, but until then, you idiots need to put your childish brother fight on hold. Then the 3 of them head toward the Arcana. Meanwhile, we see Arius inside his lab treating his wounds. Actually, not just treating them, he's building a robotic arm for himself as well. Then the scene flashes back to Arius's childhood. We see him trying to show something special to his father, something his father had been searching for, but instead of appreciating it, his drunken father violently shoves him away and says, you think you're helping me? You are the reason for all my problems. Then he starts beating Arius and says, God wrote all the pain and suffering into our fate. In this world, our worth is no better than garbage. No matter what you or I do, we can never change our destiny. Then the scene shifts again, where we see the president believing everyone has probably been killed by Vergil, but suddenly, William Baines appears in front of him alive. William says, looks like you sold your loyalty to someone else. The president is shocked to see him alive and nervously says, I don't understand what you're talking about. Then William plays an audio recording where the president can clearly be heard admitting that he made a deal with Vergil and gave him Arius's and the Arcana's location. Hearing this, a terrified soldier says, I trusted you. The president immediately panics and shouts, I'm not some weak nobody of a president, understand? And he desperately starts trying to prove his innocence like a madman. But the soldier, already traumatized because so many of his comrades had died, suddenly opens fire on the president and kills him. After killing killing him, the soldier breaks down crying and says, "What have I done?" Meanwhile, on a nearby screen, Arius calmly says, "Well, looks like our problem solved itself." Then the scene shifts again, where Arius remembers all the abuse his father put him through. He can't even sleep properly because of those memories. And then suddenly, Arius picks up a broken glass shard and attacks his own father. He keeps stabbing him over and over until he's completely dead. Actually, it almost feels like Arius enjoys killing him again and again in his memories. Then we see Arius's robotic arm fully replacing his severed one. Suddenly, the Arcana Chalice starts glowing intensely and transports Arius directly before Argosax himself. Argosax says, "Now, both of us are complete." Arius replies, "After 28 lifetimes, we have finally achieved our goal. The complete Arcana, gathered at the perfect moment." Argosax then says, "This mortal body shall be honored as the vessel for my rebirth." Arius responds, "We will both become vessels for a world finally released from its chains." Argosax replies, "Yes, liberated by flame. Every law of nature and civilization will burn to ashes. We shall become limitless." Then we return to Dante, Vergil, and Lady, who finally reach the Arcana, protected by a powerful energy barrier. But suddenly, Arius's companion Lucia appears before them to stop them, and within moments, she unleashes an enormous threat upon them. Countless demons created through Arius's experiments. Without hesitation, the battle begins. One by one, they keep killing the demons, but their numbers are overwhelming, making the fight incredibly difficult. Dante says, "We need to use more power." Vergil immediately replies, "I already am. You're the one fighting like a child." Dante says, "We need to work as a team. Remember that game we used to play as kids? The one where we had to capture the flag? All the other kids turned against us, and together we beat them." Vergil replies, "What I remember is you knocking over a tree that nearly killed one of the kids. Honestly, I work better alone." Dante laughs and says, "My memory's not that sharp, but you still remember how we won that flag, don't you?" And with that, the two brothers begin following the exact same strategy from their childhood. Vergil opens a portal and moves in to seize the Arcana directly, but Lucia blocks him. Then Dante tries from another angle, appearing right in front of the Arcana itself, but Lucia pushes him away too. And just like that, the portal closes. The three of them prepare to attack together, but suddenly Arius opens a portal and tricks Dante and Vergil, teleporting them far away. Then he says, "And that's the end of your little children's game," and the portal shuts behind them. At the same moment, Lady is barely conscious, and a truck whose driver is fast asleep is speeding directly toward her. Meanwhile, Vergil is still fighting demons when suddenly Arius appears before him. The moment Vergil sees Arius, he completely loses control and attacks instantly. But what he didn't realize was that Arius now possessed a robotic arm. Arius smirks and says, "You really are stubborn, aren't you?" Then he teleports Vergil away to another location. The scene shifts again, and we see the truck just seconds away from crushing Lady, when suddenly Dante jumps in and saves her life. Lady says, "It's over. I lost my chance. I failed again." Then we return to Arius, who separates the fourth Arcana fragment from himself and places it alongside the other fragments. But just as he's about to activate them, the coin-shaped Arcana fragment suddenly flashes red. Then we see Dante holding the real fourth Arcana piece while saying, "You didn't lose." The truth is, at the last second, Dante didn't just retrieve the Arcana fragment, he secretly replaced it with a fake coin that looked completely real from a distance. Then Dante smirks and says, "Jackpot." Arius becomes absolutely furious after realizing he's been tricked. And on the other side, Lady becomes so happy after hearing this that she suddenly presses her lips against Dante's. Yep, she straight up kisses him. And of course, Dante immediately starts enjoying the moment to the fullest. After all, Dante had somehow managed to make a girl kiss him who, not too long ago, had practically been his mortal enemy, and he did it with a single brilliant move. Then the story takes us 3 years into the past. We see Dante alongside his old friend Enzo, who is already dead by the present day. The two of them have just completed a very dangerous job and have arrived to collect their payment. The place they enter looks almost like a jungle. Eventually, they reach Professor Lucan, the man who hired them for the mission. Suddenly, a white tiger appears beside them. For some reason, the tiger seems to like Dante. Professor Lucan says, "This white tiger prefers to live alone. Their numbers have become so few that they've almost lost hope of ever finding another of their kind." Then Lucan says, "Your payment is ready. Come with me." As they walk, Professor Lucan asks Dante, "While carrying out all these dangerous missions, have you ever encountered something that people would call magic?" Dante immediately replies, "I don't believe in magic. Most of those tricks are fake anyway. I still don't understand why magicians carry those ridiculously long scarves around." Lucan laughs and says, "You do have a good sense of humor." Then, without warning, Professor Lucan uses his powers to take control of a monkey's mind. And that's not all. Plants suddenly begin growing from the ground. Using his abilities, he causes vegetation to sprout everywhere, and moments later, a massive magical tree rises before them, and then, boom, everything instantly returns to normal. Enzo comments, "Neat trick with the monkey. You do realize we charge by the hour, and technically, you're still on the clock. Then Professor Lucan turns to Dante and says, you've been given a gift too, Dante, but you're wasting it. You've cut yourself off from what you could become, hiding behind this false, cynical shell, and behind your hunger for revenge, hoping it will somehow balance the pain of what you lost. Dante's expression darkens as he replies, what do you know about what I lost? Lucan calmly answers, you'll discover your true strength when you walk the path of light, when you begin living for something greater than yourself. I can show you that path, if you'll allow me. Before Dante can answer, Enzo cuts in and says, that's enough. You're just trying to manipulate this kid so you can use his powers for your own benefit. You should be ashamed of yourself. Dante immediately replies, he's got a point, kind of like how you've been using me to make a lot of money. After thinking for a moment, Professor Lucan finally hands over the reward for the mission. The second Enzo sees the money, he quickly grabs it and starts walking away. As he leaves, he says, thanks for the third-rate magic show. Watching them go, Professor Lucan quietly says, that boy will always choose the harder path, just like his father, stubborn to the very end. Then we return to the present, right back to the kiss scene. Suddenly, Lady comes back to her senses and pushes Dante away. I shouldn't have done that. Dante immediately complains, why did you push me away? Lady quickly replies, don't get the wrong idea. I just got carried away celebrating the victory. Dante smirks and says, so this is how private military soldiers celebrate their victories? Lady rolls her eyes and answers, we can talk about that later, when the world is no longer in danger. The moment she mentions danger, Dante immediately remembers his brother Vergil, who at that very moment is trapped in a serious situation. Dante prepares to leave and help him, but Lady stops him and says, there's no point going back now. By the time we get there, the fight will already be over. Vergil can take care of himself. He is your brother after all, just a little less stupid than you. And by now, he's probably already beaten Arius the same way he beat you. Dante instantly replies, that's because I wasn't actually trying to fight him. The two of them then decide that the Arcana must be destroyed. After all, even Mundus himself had never been able to destroy it. Dante says, I once worked for a professor, Lucan I think his name was. He had incredible powers. His mansion was basically a jungle. I even saw him control a monkey's mind. Lady stares at him and says, what kind of nonsense are you talking about, Dante? Dante replies, if anyone can destroy the Arcana, it's that professor. Lady sighs, if I stay around you much longer, I'm going to lose my mind too. But I trust you. With permission from a driver, the two hop onto a motorcycle and head out. Soon we see them arriving at the same jungle mansion. The place is eerily quiet. Looking around, Lady says, wow, this really is a jungle. The two continue walking deeper into the overgrown estate when suddenly, a white tiger attacks Lady from behind. Fortunately, Professor Lucan appears just in time and stops it. He smiles and says, looks like he frightened you. Sorry about that. We rarely get visitors around here. Lady immediately replies, maybe that's because you let a tiger roam freely around your house. Then Lucan turns toward Dante and says, it's good to see you again, son of Sparta. Hearing that, Dante freezes. Wait, you knew who I was all along? You couldn't have told me earlier. That would have saved us a lot of trouble. Lucan calmly replies, how could I tell you the truth before you were ready to face it? There's a difference between knowing who you are and discovering your true identity. Lady nudges Dante and says, come on, let's leave. This old man is useless. I've met plenty of people like him. Lucan immediately responds, I know trust doesn't come easily for you. How could it when your father had two faces? Hearing that, Lady is instantly reminded of her painful past. Lucan then says, I'm sorry about your friend Enzo. He was truly a good friend. Dante quickly returns to the main issue and holds up the Arcana Medallia. I hope you know how to destroy this thing. The moment Lucan sees it, his expression changes. Arcana Medallia? Where did you get this? When Dante explains that they stole it from Arius and that the remaining Arcana pieces are still in his possession, Lucan becomes serious. You stole it from Arius? If it's here, then he'll eventually come searching for it. Without wasting a second, Lucan uses his powers to create countless fake copies of the Arcana Medallia and scatters them across the world. Meanwhile, when Arius attempts to locate the artifact using his powers, his search completely fails because of all the decoys. Lucan then explains, if Arius gathers all 4 Arcana pieces, tomorrow's hybrid eclipse will allow him to resurrect Argosax. Dante replies, yeah, I've heard that already. Even Mundus is afraid of him. Lucan shakes his head. It isn't only Mundus who has reason to fear. Argosax's resurrection would unleash a tidal wave of quantum energy powerful enough to level an entire city, and then he will begin to feed. Lady asks, what does that mean? To achieve his ultimate form, Argosax requires fuel, the life force of living beings. Millions will die. Dante asks, how do you know that? Because at the moment of his birth, he devoured an entire civilization. He continues, long ago, before Earth and Makai were separated, both worlds existed together. There were great ancient cities where humans and demons lived side by side. It is said their knowledge surpassed our own in many ways. But then Argosax was born. Argosax swallowed the ancient worlds whole to reach the peak of his power. If he returns, our fate will be exactly the same. Meanwhile, Arius begins destroying the fake Arcana Medallias one by one, trying to locate the real one. Back at the mansion, Lucan explains, I can destroy the Arcana Medallia, but controlling its power and eliminating it completely will take 8 hours. Just then, Lucan's granddaughter suddenly appears. You didn't tell me we were having guests. She strikes a pose and announces, I'm Matilda, future actress, pop superstar, and fashion designer. Lucan immediately says, I told you not to come here. Go back to your room. As she leaves, she pouts. That's cheating. Again. Lucan sighs. Please forgive her. She's had a very difficult life. I'm the only family she has left. Then Lucan begins the ritual that will destroy the Arcana Medallia. He orders Dante and Lady to wait outside. Until I finish destroying it, nobody enters this room. Outside, Lady asks Dante, so what exactly are we supposed to do for 8 hours? And then Matilda shows up again. The next thing we know, Dante and Lady are basically being dragged around by her and forced to play all sorts of games and activities she invents. Neither of them can really refuse. Eventually, Matilda tires herself out laughing and falls asleep. Meanwhile, Arius finally discovers the location of the real Arcana Medallia. At the same time, we find Dante and Lady alone together in a room. And well, you know what usually happens when a male and female are left alone together for long enough? Eventually, the hunter finds a way to win over his prey. And that's exactly how Dante seems to be acting. Not only that, but the prey doesn't seem particularly unhappy about it either. Anyway, let's leave those two alone. Elsewhere, Arius and his forces are already approaching. The Arcana Medallia is only 1 hour away from being completely destroyed. It turns out Arius already knows Professor Lucan. With an entire army behind him, he marches toward the mansion. The moment they force their way inside, Lucan senses them immediately. He sends the monkey to warn Dante. And no, don't ask why the Dante isn't wearing any clothes. Dante rushes outside and sees the white tiger fighting Arius's forces. Unfortunately, the duplicates quickly kill the tiger. At the same time, Matilda wakes up and goes outside saying, nobody throws a party in my house without inviting me. One of the duplicates spots her and moves to attack, but Dante jumps in and destroys it before it can hurt her. Then he tells her, don't be afraid, go hide somewhere safe. He also entrusts her with protecting his locket. Matilda runs away, but now the real battle begins. Dante and Lady agree on one thing. We just need to keep them away from Professor Lucan for 1 more hour. The fighting continues for a while. Then Arius orders Lucia to move in. Lucia reveals something important. Arius created them by combining human and demon cells. That means they can transform into demons whenever they want, something you can't do at will. Moments later, every one of them transforms. The battle becomes far more dangerous. Eventually, Lady is nearly killed because there are simply too many enemies. Seeing her in danger fills Dante with rage. He doesn't want to lose another person he cares about, so Dante finally transforms into his demon form, and instantly the entire battle turns around. He begins slaughtering enemies as if they were insects. Watching this, Arius says, it's time to strike at his weakness. Lady sees Dante fighting and jokes, you should have transformed earlier. This would have been way more fun. But before she can say anything else, the main demon suddenly attacks her and carries her high into the sky. The moment Dante realizes what's happening, he rushes toward her, but the enemies use the opportunity to wound him. Demons can regenerate and are difficult to kill. Lady, however, cannot. The main demon brutally tortures her in the air and leaves her badly injured. Then it suddenly drops her from an enormous height. Seeing Lady in that condition pushes Dante beyond his limit. Lucan desperately shouts, Dante, don't leave this place! But Dante is too furious to listen. Ignoring Lucan completely, he charges toward the main demon to avenge Lady. He tears through enemy after enemy, yet there are so many duplicates that he still can't reach his target. When he finally clears a path and attacks the main demon, she laughs and says, your weakness is your emotions. You never think clearly. I tricked you. I completely fooled you. And just like that, Arius successfully captures Dante's greatest weakness. Holding Lady, a little girl, hostage, he says, drop your weapon, otherwise her death will be your responsibility. Dante doesn't know what to do. At that moment, the main demon strikes him directly. The blow sends him crashing down as he begins reverting to his human form. Then Arius turns toward Lucan and says, come on, Professor, end this little performance. Hand over the Medallia. The Arcana Medallia is only moments away from destruction. Lucan faces an impossible choice. Destroy the Arcana or save his granddaughter. Arius offers a deal. Stop the ritual and I'll spare your granddaughter. After a painful moment of thought, Lucan chooses to save Matilda. He steps forward and confronts Arius. Arius smiles. Professor Lucan, it's a pleasure to see you. I wish we could have met under happier circumstances. Although for me, this is a happy occasion. Lucan says, let her go. Arius replies, first the Medallia. The moment Arius receives it, he releases Matilda. She immediately runs toward her grandfather. But suddenly, the main demon appears behind him, and in an instant, Professor Lucan is torn apart and killed. As if that wasn't enough, Matilda is teleported away to an unknown location, just like Vergil had been before. Then Arius looks at Dante and says, don't worry, the girl is alive, but she's somewhere that staying alive isn't child's play, and I never lie. Dante is already so wounded and exhausted that he finally loses consciousness. And after all this bloodshed and tragedy, the episode comes to an end. We see that Mary Arkham somehow survives. At this moment, she is receiving medical treatment, and the treatment is being carried out using technology created by Arius himself. Technology so advanced that it can bring even a dying person back from the brink of death. Then the story shifts into the past. We see William Baines and Mary Arkham meeting for the very first time. At that time, Lady is fighting a demon on her own. She looks much younger than she does in the present. After a tough battle, she finally manages to defeat the demon. The moment the demon disappears, William Baines appears behind her. Impressed by what he has just witnessed, he praises her abilities. But his real goal goal is to recruit Mary Arkham. He offers her a place in Darkcom and says, "Our goals are the same. When you grow up, you'll work for us, and you'll get your revenge against the monster who took your family away from you." In the end, Mary Arkham has almost no other choice but to join Darkcom. Then the story returns to the present. Lady finally regains consciousness. The moment she wakes up, William Baines begins speaking. "We're treating you here. In less than an hour, the eclipse will begin, and with the power of the Arcana, we'll finally destroy hell." Then he reveals that they are currently inside the Ouroboros International Hotel. Hearing this, Lady immediately says, "You're wrong. If Arius activates the Arcana, millions of people will die. Arius is lying to you." But William Baines responds, "You still don't understand. Today, we're going to destroy the devil once and for all." Lady immediately interrupts him. Arius doesn't just want to kill one demon with the Arcana. Before that, he wants to resurrect an even greater devil, the one who ruled Makai before Mundus. Even after hearing all of that, William Baines still says, "There's still time for you to come to your senses. You need to abandon this path. Otherwise, you'll regret it." Then the scene shifts to Dante. At this moment, Dante is being held captive. As soon as he wakes up, Arius says, "Don't struggle so much, and stop worrying. Lady is alive. Honestly, I still can't believe you made the mistake of falling in love with someone who has tried to kill you so many times." Then Dante asks, "What did you do to Vergil?" Arius replies, "Vergil is still alive, but at this moment, he isn't in this world. Vergil is incredibly stubborn, and right now, he's walking down a very dangerous path. Before anything else, we need to remove Mundus's lies from his mind. Arius has sent him to a place where survival is nearly impossible, a place where Arius sends everyone who becomes a nuisance to him. And unfortunately, Vergil doesn't even have his sword with him, meaning escape is much harder." After walking for a while, Vergil has spotted Matilda. She was recently sent there by Arius as well. At the moment, Matilda is trying to recover the locket Dante entrusted to her. A group of demons had taken it from her. The instant Vergil sees the locket, he recognizes it. He immediately turns toward the demons and says, "Give me that locket." The demons laugh when they see him. "Well, look at that, a new victim. Seems like you have no idea where you are. I know exactly where I am. This is the dimension of Trismagia, the same Trismagia that Arius has imprisoned." And the moment those words leave his mouth, the fight begins. Vergil starts tearing through the demons one after another. The surviving demons become so terrified that they simply run away. After picking up the locket, Vergil turns to Matilda and asks, "Where did you get this?" Then we return to Dante, where Arius says to him, "I want you to work for me." Dante replies, "I'm not going to work for you." Arius says, "You're not like your brother. Whatever you do for your own amusement and enjoyment. If there's anyone with more power to cause destruction than you, it's Argosax." Dante answers, "You're right. I'm ashamed of a lot of things I've done, but that doesn't mean I'm going to let you destroy this world or let people become food for Argosax." Then Arius inserts the Arcana piece into place. Dante asks, "What are you doing to me?" Arius replies, "I'm changing your perspective." Using the power of the Arcana, Arius sends Dante thousands of years into the past, to the era when Argosax ruled. There, Dante sees demons and humans alike standing in pools of blood, waiting for the arrival of their king, Argosax. The moment Argosax appears, he begins draining the life force of everyone around him to increase his own power. But suddenly, some of Argosax's own followers betray him and attack from behind. Argosax retaliates, but then another figure joins the battle, Mundus, the current king of Makai, who was once one of Argosax's loyal servants. Mundus attacks Argosax and leaves him severely wounded. Argosax says, "You seek to take my place? I created you. This world will never be loyal to you." Mundus replies, "Then I'll create a kingdom that will be." And with those words, he kills Argosax. As Argosax dies, the 4 pieces of the Arcana are sent crashing down to Earth by his final command. Many years later, one of those Arcana fragments ends up before a man named Arius. At the time, Arius is an inventor whose work has just been rejected by the ruling king. Furious, Arius throws all his papers into the air. One of those papers lands directly on the Arcana fragment, which instantly burns it to ashes. That catches Arius's attention. The moment he approaches the artifact, Argosax's spirit reaches into his mind and says, "I can read your thoughts." Argosax then shows Arius visions and dreams so tempting and powerful that they completely corrupt his ambitions. And that is where the strange partnership between Arius and Argosax truly begins. In reality, Arius's mission is to find all 4 pieces of the Arcana and resurrect Argosax. But one lifetime is not enough to accomplish that task. So Argosax grants him the power of reincarnation. Whenever Arius dies, he is reborn, while retaining all the memories of his previous lives. Many times he loses his life while searching for the Arcana fragments, but each time he returns and continues the hunt. This cycle continues until he finally obtains all 4 pieces. And eventually, after ages of searching, his journey reaches the present day. When Dante finally returns to reality, he stares at Arius and says, "So you're a 1,000-year-old old man." Arius immediately corrects him, 672 years old, but that's the age of my mind, not this body. I remember every single life I've lived. I've seen kings and emperors come and go. 6 centuries ago, Argosax gave me a simple command: burn it all and embrace the flames. Then we return to Vergil, and Matilda tells him everything. How she got the locket, what happened at Professor Lucan's mansion, and how she ended up in this place. Suddenly, the demons who had escaped earlier return with even more allies. One of them is carrying Vergil's sword. The moment Vergil sees it, he says, "Give me back my sword." And then, just like before, the slaughter begins again. Vergil starts putting every demon in their place, taking them down one by one. But then one of them suddenly grabs Matilda and presses a blade against her neck. "Take one more step and I'll cut her throat." Vergil coldly replies, "You think I care about that child?" But before anything else can happen, Matilda bites down hard on the demon's hand. The sword slips from his grasp and she breaks free. Vergil immediately moves. Before the demon can hurt Matilda, Vergil retrieves his sword and cuts off the demon's arm. Afterward, Vergil attempts to create a portal with his sword so they can escape, but for some reason, the portal refuses to open. The wounded demon laughs and says, "If getting out were that easy, why do you think Arius sends people here?" Vergil places his sword against the demon's throat. The terrified demon quickly says, "There's only one way out." The moment he says that, Vergil realizes what he means. "Where is it?" The demon points upward. "Up there. The guardian of the exit is waiting. You won't get past it without a fight. It makes you see things no mind can survive. You see those people wandering around like brain-dead zombies? That's what happens to anyone who faces it." Vergil replies, "The Trismagia are oracles. All they show is the truth." The demon bursts into laughter. "Then you won't survive either. You're too weak to face your own truth." His laughter lasts only a moment. Vergil kills him without hesitation. Then he tells Matilda to follow him. Meanwhile, the eclipse is only moments away from beginning. We cut to Lady. She says, "We were wrong, Baines. Don't you understand? Families have died because of your orders. Children too." William Baines replies, "I know you blame yourself for your parents' deaths. Someone who's suffered that kind of loss doesn't always see the right path clearly." Lady snaps back, "What do my parents have to do with this? Millions of lives are at stake." William then shows her a video recording. "Your father is alive. He told us about you. After that, I came to meet you at the warehouse that night, but he wanted his survival to remain a secret." Before the recording can continue, William quickly closes the laptop as Lady's father begins behaving strangely on screen. Then William says, "Your father helped us every step of the way in this war against Mundus. Yes, he turned himself into a demon. Yes, he killed your mother, but even then, he never abandoned our cause. You must stand with us as well." But Lady is completely stunned after hearing all of this. Finally, she says, "My father is just like you, a narcissist destroyed by a psychotic obsession. Did you really think hearing about that monster would make me join your side? He murdered my mother. I don't care whether a demon controlled him or whether he transformed himself willingly." She continues tearing into him. Eventually, William turns to a soldier named Tom and orders, "Make sure she doesn't leave this room under any circumstances." As he prepares to leave, Lady calls out, "If you ever considered me anything more than just another soldier, then don't let Arius use the Arcana." Without answering, William leaves and heads toward Arius. The story then shifts back to Dante. The real reason Arius doesn't want Dante and Vergil dead is because he intends to use the brothers' power to restore Argosax to his true form and kill Mundus. But despite all of Arius's efforts, Dante refuses to help him. Arius sighs, "Then I'll have to use another method." Suddenly, Dante's blood begins draining rapidly from his body. Arius leaves him behind in that condition and walks away. Elsewhere, Vergil and Matilda finally arrive at Trismagia. As they approach what appears to be the exit, a strange magical barrier suddenly traps them. Moments later, the world around them changes completely. The being before them finally reveals itself. Trismagia speaks. "It is a pleasure to meet you, Vergil." We return to Arius and the assembled Arcana. A lavish party is taking place around the ceremony. At that moment, Vice President William Baines arrives. He walks straight up to Arius and says, "I need to speak with you." Arius smiles. "Of course, there isn't much time left anyway." William says, "If I'm the commander-in-chief, then I should be the one who fires the weapon that destroys the devil. I should be the one who kills him." Arius replies, "Activating the Arcana is extremely difficult. Only I can do it." William answers, "No, I want to do it myself." Arius smirks. "Looks like Mary Arkham finally woke up. What did she tell you?" William responds, "She said the Arcana will consume millions of lives. She said you aren't trying to destroy a devil, you're trying to resurrect one. I told her that was impossible." Arius begins laughing darkly. She was absolutely right. The moment he says those words, William shouts, "Arrest him!" But things don't go as planned. Arius instantly takes control of the soldiers around him with his powers. At the same time, Lady manages to convince Tom to free her. After all, she used to be the commander of these very soldiers. Once free, she heads straight for Arius. Back at the ceremony, Arius brutally kills the soldiers one after another. The guests panic and rush toward the elevators in terror. William reaches for his pistol, but Arius effortlessly immobilizes him. Then Arius says, "You have no idea how many men like you I've dealt with over the centuries. Men who thought they were important. Honestly, I've been waiting to see you like this." Then he hands Sparta's sword to the woman standing beside him and says, "You know what to do. Once Argosax has fully restored himself and consumed enough power, open the rift." At that exact moment, Lady arrives and opens fire. The woman blocks the bullet with the sword and immediately counterattacks. But just before the strike can hit Lady, Dante suddenly appears in his demon form and takes the attack himself. Had it landed on Lady, she would have been torn apart instantly. After enduring such a devastating blow, Dante collapses unconscious. Then Arius turns his attention to William Baines. Right before Lady's eyes, he erases him from existence and kills him. And at that exact moment, only seconds remain before the eclipse begins. Arius steps into the center of the Arcana. As the eclipse reaches totality, Argosax is reborn within Arius's body. Now Arius and Argosax have become one. The fused being begins grabbing people nearby and draining their life force. With every soul consumed, it evolves further. Finally, using all that stolen energy, Argosax breaks free completely. Taking on a terrifying new form, Arius and Argosax speak with a single voice: "We have returned." We see Vergil standing before Trismagia and saying, "If you are truly an oracle, then you already know why I came here." Trismagia replies, "Son of Sparta, everyone who has tried to escape this realm before you lost their mind. Do you even know why Arius sent you here?" But Vergil has no intention of becoming anyone's pawn. He declares that whatever Arius's plan may be, today it will fail. Hearing that, Trismagia becomes enraged and begins transforming. Its three heads separate from one another and immediately launch a relentless assault on Vergil. But this creature possesses a far more dangerous ability than raw power. Trismagia shows nothing but the truth. As the battle continues, Vergil is forced to relive moments from his own past, and through those visions, he uncovers a horrifying secret that changes everything. The man he trusted for years, the king he followed without question, Mundus himself, was the one responsible for his mother's death. The moment Vergil realizes the truth, he explodes with rage. For years he had searched for answers, never knowing that the person standing beside him was the very monster who had taken everything from him. Yet, despite his anger, Vergil refuses to break. He quickly regains control of himself and realizes exactly what Arius wanted him to see. Trismagia becomes even more furious and prepares to finish both Vergil and Matilda at once. But before the killing blow can land, Vergil transforms into his demon form, grabs Matilda, and escapes the prison dimension at the very last second. Finally safe, Matilda celebrates their escape, but Vergil can think only about the truth he has just learned. He now understands that Arius sent him there for one reason: to reveal that Mundus was the true murderer of his mother. And if that revelation is true, then Arius wants something far more dangerous. He wants Vergil to join forces with him and help destroy Mundus. Even after hearing Matilda's objections, Vergil's hatred continues to grow. Consumed by thoughts of revenge, he opens a portal and disappears. Meanwhile, the Argosax-Arius fusion continues absorbing human life force. With every person it drains, its power grows even greater, and before long, it evolves into an even more terrifying form. At the same time, Dante finally regains consciousness and immediately begins searching for Lady. To his relief, she is still alive. After a brief reunion, both of them realize they have no time to waste. Argosax is still evolving, and if nobody stops him soon, countless more lives will be lost. The two quickly come up with a plan. Dante will confront Argosax directly, while Lady will deal with Arius's daughter. And without wasting another second, Dante launches a spectacular attack against the fusion being. Looking at Dante, the fusion creature says, "I welcome you on this path to the liberation of both worlds." Dante responds, "Look, this might sound rude, but this is the first time I've seen someone's face growing out of somebody's stomach. I can't even tell if that voice is coming from your face or your backside." The fusion being is instantly enraged, and just like that, the battle begins. During the fight, Dante says, "So tell me, what should I call you? Argosax sounds kind of boring. Vergil said you're the original devil, so maybe Satan? Or Lucy? Actually, I think the devil's butt sounds better. It's a lot more fun to say." Hearing this only makes the fusion being even angrier. It growls, "I should have drained all of your power from your blood when I had the chance, but now taking your power will be even easier." Suddenly, Dante takes advantage of the dust and debris filling the battlefield and vanishes from sight. Then we see Lady, who has reunited with the same soldier driver who helped her escape captivity. The two of them head straight toward Lucia, hoping to stop her from opening the rift, the gateway between the human world and the demon world. Once opened, she could never get it closed again. Lucia takes the elevator to the upper levels, forcing Lady and the soldier to take the long staircase route. Along the way, they run into several hostile soldiers. Meanwhile, we return to Dante. While trying to save a young boy, he ends up being captured by the fusion being. Compared to humans, demons possess far greater life force, and Dante is not just any demon, he is the son of the legendary Sparta. As the fusion being absorbs Dante's life force, it begins evolving much faster than before. But suddenly, a flying sword slices through the magical arm that was draining Dante's energy, freeing him from the creature's grasp. The sword belongs to Vergil. Having teleported to the battlefield, Vergil looks at the fusion being and says, "As long as I'm here, don't even think about killing my brother. He and I still have unfinished business." The fusion being replies, "So you've seen the truth, and yet you're still standing against us?" Vergil immediately answers, "Did you really think I'd escape one bastard only to join hands with another? Don't mistake me for some pawn that dances on command. Mundus will die by my hand eventually, but first I need to settle things with you." He charges forward, but instead of attacking, he reaches catches Dante, opens a portal, and pulls him away from the battlefield. Then we see Matilda somehow arriving at Lucia's location. Lady and the soldier also manage to reach the same place. Lucia immediately starts trying to provoke Lady with insults and mind games, but it doesn't last long. Lady opens fire and the battle begins. Back with Dante and Vergil, the brothers emerge from the portal. As Dante gets back on his feet, he says, "Arius said you were alive, but I thought he was lying." Suddenly, Vergil grabs Dante by the collar, lifts him up, and throws him aside. Furious, he shouts, "I told you to keep Arcana away from him until the eclipse at all costs, and you couldn't even manage that one simple task." Dante responds, "This isn't the time for us to fight each other, you were right." Vergil calms himself slightly and says, "There was one thing I was wrong about too." Then he continues, "We share the same enemy. Argosax hasn't fully awakened yet. Together we have enough power to defeat him. We'll just have to give everything we've got." Vergil explains that neither of them is currently in their true demon form, and I can't maintain my demon form for long either. That's because of our mother's weak human genes. Dante replies, "At least you can transform whenever you want. I can't. Pain and suffering are what make us stronger. They're what push us toward our true form. You keep suppressing your pain. Let it out. That anger buried inside us is the only inheritance we have left." With those words, Vergil transforms into his complete demon form, the form Mundus had taught him to unlock. Then he rushes toward the fusion being. The battle between Vergil and the fusion being begins. Meanwhile, Lady continues fighting Lucia. At one point, Lucia gains the upper hand and lifts Lady high into the air once again. Back with Dante, he begins remembering all the painful moments of his life, and his anger grows stronger and stronger. At the same time, Vergil begins losing ground against the fusion being. The soldier is overwhelmed as well. Finally, Dante transforms into his true demon form and joins Vergil in battle. The fusion being looks at them and says, "At last, the two sons of Sparta stand before me." Dante immediately replies, "No, we're the sons of Eva." Then he pulls out his pistols, starts some music, and adds, "And we like beating people up while listening to music." The battle erupts once again. Back on Lady's side, Lucia throws her high into the sky one more time, but this time, Lady suddenly headbutts Lucia, turns the fight around, and drives her downward. In a stylish finishing move, Lady slams Lucia into the ground, snaps her neck, and watches her die. Then she suddenly notices something. Wait, that's a duplicate! The real Lucia appears behind her. She's just about to cut off Lady's head when Matilda suddenly opens fire, severely wounding Lucia. Angrily, Matilda shouts, "That's for my grandfather, you bitch!" Lady walks over and says, "Thanks, matey, but you really shouldn't use bad language." Suddenly, the fusion being arrives at their location. It starts absorbing the life force of everyone nearby. Then it notices Demon Lucia and absorbs her as well. Its power increases dramatically. Now it begins overwhelming both Dante and Vergil. At one point, it weakens them and starts absorbing both brothers simultaneously. Their demon forms fade, returning them to their human appearances. The fusion being is now incredibly close to reaching Argosax's true form, but at the last moment, Vergil uses his sword to free both himself and Dante. Even so, Argosax's complete resurrection is almost inevitable. For some reason, the fusion being abandons Dante and Vergil and turns its attention toward ordinary humans instead. Dante asks Vergil, "You said Argosax would go after Mundus as soon as he reached full power. If Mundus fought him right now, would Mundus win?" After thinking for a moment, Vergil answers, "Yes." Dante turns to Lady and says, "Then you'll have to open the rift." Confused, Lady asks, "Why?" "Because we're going to shove him into the demon world and let Mundus kill him. Just keep the rift open long enough for him to get through." Lady entrusts Matilda's safety to the soldier and obtains the blood vials she needs from Lucia. But suddenly Dante says, "Hey Lady, remember that restaurant near my old house?" Lady replies, "Yeah, why? If you don't hear from me after the rift opens, I'll be there. There's something important I need to tell you." Lady then shatters the blood vials onto Sparta's sword. The moment the blood touches the blade, the rift begins to open. As it expands, it starts pulling everything toward it with overwhelming force. Because Lady is standing so close, she struggles desperately against the immense suction. Meanwhile, Dante and Vergil pour all of their power into their pistols. Vergil says, "Don't start one of your stupid catchphrases again," but Dante cuts him off. Jackpot. The brothers fire simultaneously. The combined blast is so powerful that it launches the fusion being directly toward the rift. At the same time, Lady is barely holding on against the rift's pull. Finally, the fusion being is successfully dragged through the gateway and sent into Makai, the demon world. But then, unexpectedly, Vergil begins moving toward the rift as well. Dante tries to stop him, but in the end, he has no choice but to follow Vergil and pursue the fusion being into the demon world. As he's pulled away, Dante shouts to Lady, "Lady, close it! You can do it, Lady!" But Lady begins losing consciousness. Just as her grip slips, the soldier driver catches her, but Sparta's sword had already headed straight towards the rift. As a result, the rift remains open. And on that critical cliffhanger, we are taken back 2,000 years into the demon world, Makai, where Sparta stands amid hundreds of demon corpses before finally confronting the demon king, Mundus. Mundus says to Sparta, "So you finally raised your sword against me as well. Only now, when I've decided to invade Earth, have you chosen to stop me. Then I must add one more grave to the foundations of my Makai, and I will deeply regret doing so. Moments later, the two begin fighting like madmen. Their clash is so powerful that everything around them is being destroyed by the shockwaves of their battle. The story then shifts to the present-day Mundus, where a one-eyed demon reports, "My lord, our spy on Earth has sent information. Humans have a strange invention called television. Through it, he spoke to the entire world and told them about the White Rabbit, but now he has mysteriously disappeared. This means everything Vergil had done so far had reached Mundus, at least up to the point where he appeared on television." Mundus asks, "Good. Any other news?" "But my lord, I don't understand. Why do you trust the offspring of that traitor so much? He'll betray us too." Mundus immediately becomes angry. "Think before you speak. Are you telling me which of my soldiers I can trust?" Terrified, the demon apologizes and leaves. Outside, still angry, he begins venting his frustration. Suddenly, he senses someone nearby and says, "Why are you hiding in the corner like a lizard?" Jester replies, "My apologies for the disturbance, sir. My breakfast managed to escape." Now having someone to take his anger out on, the one-eyed demon says, "Mundus is determined to give every traitor, every gutter-born insect in Makai, a place in his court. You're no less disgusting than that half-breed." Jester laughs like a maniac and says, "You have no idea how funny you are. Otherwise, you'd take my job." Meanwhile, Mundus watches as the barrier created by Sparta begins to crumble. Suddenly, Argosax crashes into the demon world, followed closely by Vergil, and then by Dante, who is chasing his brother. Argosax looks around and says, "What a pathetic attempt. If you couldn't stop us on Earth, what makes you think you'll stop us here, on the land that is rightfully ours?" The ground beneath them begins shaking violently. Vergil calmly says, "We don't need to do anything," meaning only one thing: the grand entrance of King Mundus. Seeing him, Argosax growls, "Traitor!" Their swords collide instantly. Mundus says, "I've been waiting for your resurrection for a very long time. This time I'll destroy you so completely that even your soul will fear being reborn." Argosax replies, "You've ruled here for less time than you spent serving me, and you only defeated me through deception. Now we are stronger than ever." Mundus immediately attacks. "No, you're weaker than ever." And just like that, the battle begins between the king of the past, Argosax, and the king of the present, Mundus. Meanwhile, Dante spots his father's sword and rushes toward it with Vergil. They need to close the rift before the amulet is destroyed. Suddenly, Argosax unleashes a devastating attack on Mundus. Dante and Vergil barely avoid being caught in the blast. The attack continues, growing stronger. For a moment, it seems as though Mundus has been completely erased from existence. But then, somehow, Mundus appears behind Argosax, tears through his body, and violently rips Arius out of him. Argosax instantly weakens. A second later, Mundus slices off Argosax's head and kills him. Watching everything, Arius laughs weakly and says, "I had to die 25 times, just for a few moments of this. Not a bad trade." Then Arius finally dies as well. Just as Dante and Vergil are about to reach the sword, Mundus throws Argosax's severed head in front of them. Soon, countless demons surround the brothers. Dante smirks and says, "Mundus, I thought you'd be taller." Mundus ignores the insult and looks at Vergil. "Nello Angelo, if I hadn't shown you the proper path, you'd be speaking nonsense just like this fool." Vergil immediately responds, "Enough. I know the truth now. The soldiers who killed my mother and caused me endless suffering were sent by you. You manipulated me and turned me into your loyal pet." Mundus calmly replies, "Yes, not just a pet, a powerful one. Today you delivered Makai's greatest enemy into my hands and destroyed the wall your father built. Earth is now completely vulnerable. Argosax wanted to destroy us through chaos. Makai will survive only when all sons of Makai stand together." Mundus then tries to manipulate Vergil further. "Everything I've done, Nello Vergil, was to destroy the human weakness inside you." Vergil replies, "I won't make the mistake of trusting you again. You enslaved me in the name of revenge against my father. That's the truth." Mundus responds, "If revenge was truly my goal, why would I free you from captivity? Why would I train you and help you reach your true power?" Vergil asks, "Then what do you want?" Mundus answers, "Preparation. I did all of this so that one day you would become my right hand and lead our invasion of Earth. Together we would rule both worlds." Vergil says, "You would never give anyone that much freedom." Mundus replies, "No one else. But Sparta, I never lied to you about your father. Even after turning against me, he remained loyal in his own way. In truth, I was the one who lost sight of my purpose." Dante interrupts angrily, "Stop lying. Dad hated you. He built the barriers to protect Earth from you." Mundus replies, "You know nothing about your father. Do you truly want to know who Sparta really was?" Mundus then reveals the past. He explains that Sparta was once a legendary warrior who served under Argosax. Mundus himself was also once one of Argosax's followers, a high priest. He witnessed corruption, slaughter, and endless destruction throughout Makai. Believing Makai needed salvation, Mundus overthrew Argosax and transformed Makai into a powerful empire. However, many rebels continued fighting in Argosax's name. According to Mundus, Sparta was the very first warrior to support him. Under Sparta's leadership, Mundus's armies won countless wars. Sparta became his greatest champion. Together, they restored Makai's former glory. But eventually, Sparta concluded that Mundus had become obsessed with conquest rather than protecting Makai. Dante jokes, "Sounds like that's when Dad kicked your stone butt." Ignoring him, Mundus continues, "Sparta tried everything to reason with him. When that failed, he raised his sword against Mundus. They fought across countless continents of Makai. Eventually, Sparta chose his final solution, creating the barrier between the human world and the demon world." Dante argues, "You talk as if he built that wall for you. He did it to save billions of humans from you." Mundus replies, "Sparta always had a strange fascination with Earth. Just because someone watches an ant pushing sand doesn't mean he cares about the ant." Then he begins speaking about Eva. "I never met your mother, but I know she must have been beautiful. Beautiful toys attract attention. When he grew bored of the toy, he abandoned Eva to her fate, and he abandoned both of you." Dante explodes with rage. "Don't you dare say my mother's name! Dad loved her, and he loved us too!" But Vergil quietly says, "If he loved us, he never would have left." Mundus continues, "A being as powerful as Sparta could never truly love a species as insignificant as humans. How long was he with your mother? 5 years? 10? He spent centuries with me." Dante quickly warns, "He's manipulating you. He's Mom's killer." Mundus replies, "She had to die. Look how much human weakness your mother left inside your brother. I wanted both of you here. At least one of Sparta's heirs has become worthy. I've made you the true heir of Sparta. Now come with me and help conquer Earth." Vergil slowly draws his sword. "The blood I've shed for you so far is nothing compared to what I'm about to spill." The battle begins. Despite Mundus's power, the sons of Sparta prove overwhelming. Soon the fight reaches a standstill. Dante grabs the sword and says, "We don't need to fight him now. We should return to Earth and close the rift. We'll get our revenge later. I've already lost too much because of revenge. I don't want to lose you too, not after finally getting you back." Vergil replies, "You still don't understand, little brother. No matter what, Mundus spoke one truth. Our father abandoned all three of us. Only power can protect you. I can become strong enough that no one will ever defeat me. I don't want to fight this world anymore. I want to rule it." Shocked, Dante asks, "Are you really choosing this?" Vergil answers, "No, I'm choosing Makai, my home." Suddenly, the brothers clash again. This time, the outcome is different. Vergil's sword pierces straight through Dante. He then lifts his father's sword and grabs Dante by the collar. "If we had switched places that night, would our fates have been different? Would you have lived my life and I yours?" Then, unexpectedly, Vergil tricks Mundus. Using his powers, he launches Dante at full speed toward the portal leading back to Earth. At the same time, he separates the amulet from Sparta's sword. The portal immediately begins closing. Seeing this, Mundus screams, "No!" He throws the amulet toward Dante. Dante catches it, but before Mundus can reach him, the portal closes completely. Now trapped with Vergil, Mundus asks, "Why did you do this?" Vergil answers, "Everything you said about humans was true. I'm grateful that you killed the human weakness inside me, but you made one mistake. You should never have killed my mother. Makai will invade Earth one day, and when that happens, I will be the king." For a moment, Mundus sees Sparta's spirit reflected in Vergil. Then he smiles. "You're exactly like your father. Very well, let's see whether the son can turn the father's defeat into victory." A full-scale war between Vergil and Mundus begins. Meanwhile, Mary Arkham finishes watching the incomplete video she had found earlier. The shocking truth is revealed. Jester is her father. In the recording, Jester laughs and says, "Wonderful. Mary, my daughter is finally coming to meet her father. This reunion should be unforgettable." He bursts into maniacal laughter once again. Finally, we see the wounded Dante back on Earth. Looking toward the sky, he quietly says, "I promise, Vergil, one day we'll be together again, forever." And with that, after almost 30 days of work, the season finally comes to an end. I don't know whether this video will go viral or not, but I do know that it contains nearly 30 days of hard work. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. And if you enjoy this recap style, subscribe to the channel so you can watch more anime stories. Season 3 will come whenever Netflix releases it. If I made any mistakes or if there's anything I should know, be sure to leave a comment. See you in the subscribers list.